live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon. Welcome to News 3 Now live at 4. I'm Brady Mallory.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. Susan has the afternoon off.
Now we have an update on a story that we brought you on Monday. Madison police are providing more details about a crash that killed a man that morning. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says a deputy did a traffic stop earlier, but the man did not stop and the deputy did not pursue. Police then say the man was driving south on Stoughton Road when witnesses saw the vehicle go into the ditch, cross the road, and crash into a tree on the other side. Officers then arrived to find the vehicle on fire and extracted a man in his 40s, but he was pronounced dead at the scene.
Turning to weather now, the First Warn Weather Team says that it will be cloudy today. That planned out, but how long will this gloomy weather last? Jacob Montesano has the answer.
Well, it's not going to last too much longer. Now, although we're going to continue to see those cloudy skies tomorrow, temperatures will be warmer than today, and right now they are in the lower 40s, so certainly on the colder side. And taking a look across the region, some areas have been in the 30s all day for places to the north, and even those that did get into the 40s barely got there. So a pretty chilly day, but it's not going to last too much longer, at least over the next couple of days. It's going to warm up. Now, as we take a look at the overnight lows, with the cloudy skies, it will actually help keep the temperatures from dropping too much. So lows are only going to be a few degrees colder than what we're seeing right now. And then looking at tomorrow, despite the cloudy skies, temperatures are expected to get close to, if not into, the lower 50s. And this will be the case for a lot of the area. And these milder temperatures are expected once we throughout the weekend as well. Taking a look specifically at Friday, and Friday will feature a little bit more sunshine, partly sunny skies, highs near 50, and as I mentioned, the weekend looking pretty good as well. But there is a pretty dramatic shift in the forecast over the next 10 days. So I'll talk more in detail about a cool down that will be expected for Thanksgiving. The details on that will be coming up a bit later.
All right, thank you. Now to continuing coverage of the data center proposal in DeForest. We're learning more about the plans by the company QTS as they prepare to submit an official zoning application by the end of the month. The plans to turn farmland into a 1,600-acre data center led to a packed meeting, as you can see last night in DeForest. One QTS executive says the center would add $20 million a year in tax revenue and an estimated 700 permanent jobs. He also addressed concerns about water usage, saying that their data centers use a closed-loop system for cooling. However, critics point out these systems still require a significant one-time water charge before they can run on that near-zero consumption loop.
We'll still use water for flushing toilets and washing hands and kitchen and those kind of things, but the system itself is charge once and use ongoing.
The scale of data centers is hard to imagine. The upending of communities, the need to produce more electricity, and challenges to people's health.
I do plan to move away if the data center is built.
Officials at QTS and Alliant Energy say utility rates will not go up for the community. The companies also promise to power 75% of the data center's projected energy needs with new renewable energy sources. The village board did not take any action at last night's informal meeting.
Crews are building a data center in Beaver Dam, and people who live there say construction is not even finished yet, but they are already seeing changes in their community.
Marcus Arsvold with our associate station WTMJ in Milwaukee has more from Beaver Dam.
And I, for one, am not interested in the death that is AI. I am interested in the life that is water and our planet Mother Earth.
For 47 years, Miley Kaczynski's lived on this creek. Now, a Meta data center is moving in just a few miles away.
I feel it was rushed and it was hushed and forced on us without any real transparent opportunity to speak up.
She says the Beaver Dam community didn't know about the project until it was too late, and worries about environmental implications. She says you can see in this video that shows an empty creek some days and cloudy water other days.
I'm left feeling like I have to fend for myself with my neighbors.
She's not alone in worrying about water.
Biggest worry is going to be impact on the water aquifer and on the electric grid and cost involved.
Several residents spoke out in opposition of the data center at a packed meeting Monday night. I was also there and took their concerns to Mayor Bobby Mark. She says environmental studies were completed.
From the city's end, all of those permits were in line and they were following the law, just as we assume they will. But we trust but verify. We always check, and that's why we have a building inspector.
I also reached out to the Wisconsin DNR, but did not receive a response. When I called a spokesperson for Meta, they pointed me to a press release which says Meta will restore water consumed and that, quote, there will be no water demands for cooling once the data center is operational, end quote.
To be honest with you guys, I think you've broken the trust of the city, and I don't know where we go from there.
Still, the community wants to see more transparency from the city, though the mayor says they've followed the legal protocol, putting out a press release in February that a data center was coming to town.
The majority of the council is pretty committed with the decision that they made. They feel, in spite of some of the questions that have come forward, they still feel that it was the best decision and the project will proceed forward.
Kaczynski shares her story in the hopes other Wisconsin communities raise concerns with their elected leaders sooner in the process.
And there's quite a few people they've just accepted that fact. It's here and the paperwork is signed.
And that was Marcus Arsvold reporting.
As the holiday season approaches, millions of Americans will be shopping online, booking travel and searching for the perfect gift. But this time of year also brings a surge in frauds, unfortunately. Experts are warning people to remain vigilant right now, especially with scams adapting to new technologies and targeting people in different ways. Nearly 90% of people have encountered some form of a scam, whether through suspicious texts, emails, or misleading ads on social media.
Let's talk to each other intergenerationally about this. We have to share information about what we know, come at it like, hey, we have to have each other's back, have the conversations. The more we know about the specific scams that are out there, the less likely we are to engage with them if they come our way.
So if you think you may have fallen for a scam or your device has been compromised, do not hesitate to seek help. Be sure to reach out to a reputable technology services or contact the AARP Fraud Watch Network helpline. The number is 877-908-3360 for free support. Now, law enforcement encourages anyone who's experienced a financial loss also file a police report, even if the crime seems international or complex.
Now, time is running out to support the Thanksgiving basket drive at the Goodman Community Center.
And News 3 Now is a proud sponsor of this drive again, and you have it till the end of the week, so time is nearing to help those in need. Our Jalen Banks joins us now live from the center on how the drive is going. Jalen?
We're at the halfway point of the Goodman Thanksgiving basket drive, and they say they're still about 700 turkeys short of their 4,000 goal, but you still have time to donate. For 37 years now, the Thanksgiving Basket Drive has become a community staple, drawing in countless volunteers, families, businesses, and organizations lending a helping hand for families in need. The goal for this year is to supply 4,000 meals to Dane County families. This will help feed 25,000 residents, including 10,000 children, this Thanksgiving.
Everybody's falls on hard times. I just think it's that time of the year. I just like to help out anybody that's down and out. That bad luck can come to anybody at any time, and I'd really like to see somebody benefit from this.
On top of the need of turkeys, the center is still in need of cooking oil, broth, gravy, cranberry sauce, and several other canned and boxed items. Starting Friday, everything that you see here will start to get bagged up by volunteers, but you still have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to donate. For now, reporting from the Goodman Center, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you, Jalen. In other news, UW-Madison has announced its Winter 2025 commencement speaker, and it's a familiar Badger. Grace Vanderhei is a Wausau native, nuclear fuels engineer, and Miss America 2023. That's all. She will return to campus to deliver the keynote address on December 14th. Vanderhei graduated from UW-Madison in 2023 with a degree in nuclear engineering, all while traveling more than 270,000 miles, fulfilling her Miss America duties. Senior class officials say that her blend of innovation and individuality makes her the perfect choice to inspire this year's graduates. My goodness.
How wonderful.
I know.
Next on Live at 4, we have an update from the Bucks. We'll find out how long Coach Rivers thinks Giannis will be out.
And the Packers are taking on the Vikings this Sunday. Going to be a good one. Our senior Packers writer Jason Wilde tells us about the next 3 games against NFC North teams. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Welcome back, everyone. It's the end of a case that started more than 2 years ago at a long-troubled apartment complex on Madison's East Side.
On July 13th, 20-year-old Devon Grant was shot and killed at the Harmony Apartments. In August, the jury found one of the men charged with killing Grant, Devontae Gafford, guilty of homicide. Tanasia Shaw now joins us from the courthouse where today he learned his fate. Tanasia?
Hi, Brady and Sarah. We just learned that 34-year-old Devontae Grant will spend at least 45 years behind bars connected in the killing of 20-year-old Devon Grant. And I'm sorry, 34-year-old Devontae Gafford. He is the one who will spend at least 45 years behind bars. And I'm here outside of the courthouse where emotions were really high for everyone that's involved.
Not enough reason to go kill somebody? Hey, we killed everybody in the room.
And that sound from both Gafford's and Grant's family. Gafford is convicted of having a firearm as a felon, first-degree reckless homicide as a party of a crime, and also a party of a crime for first-degree recklessly endangering safety. And this all started on July 13th in 2023. Gafford told the jury during the trial that himself and another suspect, Mark Parks Jr., were defending themselves in 2023 after a drug deal that turned into a robbery. Gafford said that someone shot at them first, and then Gafford shot back. Now, Grant's family, who saw the shooting themselves, and prosecutors say that Gafford went to Harmony Apartments after the drug deal looking for those who robbed them of cough syrup, and that resulted in Grant being shot and killed. And earlier today, both Grant and Gafford's family spoke during the sentencing.
I just wish you would have just came and talked to me, and now one of us would be in this predicament we in now. But you chose to do what you thought was best for you. You thought you was the police officer, the judge, and the lawyer. You took matters in your own hands.
That's my son-in-law. Your Honor, he has 7 kids that he take care of. Good, okay? But the one thing is, that judge, that they don't realize is we wouldn't be sitting here if the boy in this game, when they held him up at gunpoint with some of his kids, okay? We wouldn't be sitting here. That's the point. That's the thing that people don't realize.
And I spoke to Grant's family outside the courtroom exclusively right after the sentencing was announced. She told me that she is grateful for this sentencing and that she's also grateful that Gafford will spend most of his life behind bars. And I will have that full interview with Grant's mom tonight at 6. Reporting in Madison, Tanasia Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanasia, thank you. On some sports news, Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks is expected to miss about 2 weeks of play after a left groin strain on Monday during a game against the Cavs. Coach Doc Rivers initially said the injury didn't look great, but added it appears not to be serious and expects Giannis to miss those 2 weeks. Giannis has been averaging just over 31 points and just under 11 rebounds this season. And needless to say, his absence will be a major hurdle for Milwaukee's push in the East. And it's a busy week ahead for football with the Badgers and the Packers games. Will it stay cloudy and cool for those games? Here's First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Jacob?
Thanks, Brady. It's actually going to warm up a little bit, but before I get to the forecast, it is Winter Weather Awareness Week, and for today on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about the common paths that the winter storms that bring snow here in Wisconsin typically take. So this first one are known as Alberta Clippers. Now, the low forms in the Canadian Rockies, then moves along the jet stream pretty quickly, though. This doesn't usually last more than around 12 hours, and typically it only brings about 1 to 3 inches of snow, but they could produce upwards of 5 inches in some more extreme cases. And these actually are a little bit more common than the other snowfalls that could usually bring in a lot if the conditions are right. So these are called Colorado lows, also known as panhandle hooks, where the low pressure system dips south and then rides along the jet stream and brings in moisture from the south. And depending on the location of the jet stream and the low will depend on where the heaviest snow is. In some situations, if the snow perfectly covers our area, you could see possibly upwards to 10 inches, maybe even over a foot of snow. In extreme cases, you can see even more. And then they push off to the northeast. Now, obviously, if the low's a bit north, we could see, we would see a little bit more rainfall. If it's a bit south, we'll see the northern edge of it. In some cases, it's further south and we don't see anything. And obviously, the strength of these can vary from system to system. But these are typically the big snowfalls, and in rare cases, they could last as much as 18 to 36 hours. Now, as we take a look at the three things you need to know, not really going to see much rain the next couple of days, and temperatures will warm up, but we will see some showers return once we get to Tuesday. Now, taking a look at the specific rain chances, again, not really going to see anything until Monday night and Tuesday, but this system Monday night into Tuesday will cool the temperatures down a lot for next week. Now, let's take a look at our chance of rain. So starting Monday morning and continuing through Monday night, we'll see an increase in cloud cover during this time frame, with that rain moving in later in the night and into Tuesday. But this is mostly going to be in the form of rain. However, as the system clears out Tuesday night into Wednesday, the winds are going to shift directions, come out of the west-northwest, possibly bring some snow in. But what it's for sure going to bring in will be those colder temperatures. And looking at the high temperature trend over the next 10 days, the next 5 days are actually going to be very comfortable for this time of the year. But take a look at next week. Highs will be near 30, and we're talking about low temperatures possibly in the teens during this time frame. And obviously, this does include the Thanksgiving holiday. Now, as far as how much snow is expected, right now we're not really expecting a lot of accumulation, plus a lot can change between now and then. But the cold temperatures look very likely at this point for Thanksgiving and Black Friday as well. But for the next 5 days, definitely enjoy the weather. The weekend forecast looks pretty good for this time of the year.
And thank you so much there, Jacob. We are continuing our Winter Weather Awareness Week, so we have topics that Jacob was just discussing a little bit earlier about different types of winter storm paths.
Yeah.
But as part of Winter Weather Awareness Week that aired, we had a special called Winter Ready that aired back in October, on October 15th. Let's hear a little bit on the latest on Southern Wisconsin winter research from a renowned professor that I know quite well at UW-Madison's Atmospheric and Oceanic Sciences Department. His research may have you shivering a little less.
And it's just enough change that in certain locations like us, fairly sensitive to those changes, we're seeing less snow and less frequent visitations by really bitterly cold air.
And also in agreement with Dr. Martins, a little bit, we're not getting quite as deep cold. We're not getting some of those big snowstorms like we used to see. Let's listen to what one of my favorite people in the world, the late Grandma Eileen Harrington, has to say. This is her take on Southern Wisconsin blizzards.
Hey there, folks. Just talking to the wisest of the wise about weather, and you have a lot to say about winter storms.
People now at your age, Alex, have no idea what a blizzard really is. We had blizzards where you couldn't even travel on the roads. You'd have to go to town on a horse and sleigh. And then in the spring, caterpillars would come and blow out the roads, and they'd be as high as a telephone post. The drifts would be on the highway and the roads. That's the way blizzards were way back then.
Wow. It's always great to bring Grandma back to life again. She passed away on February 14th of this past year. We miss you so much, Grandma, but we're so happy to have a Facebook page where you can follow Grandma Harrington. On her page, Weather with the Wise, there are a lot of funny and lively stories that myself and our family are sharing on her social media page. So please follow her, and you can watch the entire Winter Ready special on channel3000.com. And speaking of special, it's time to announce the third winner of a First Warn Weather Winter Shovel. Congratulations. This is Tony's picture from Janesville. Congratulations again, Tony, with that frozen lake there. And tomorrow we're going to get to meet another friend of mine. That friend is four-legged and has a lot of Spitfire. That's Loki. Loki's going to be joined with his rescue service, Arvs out of Sun Prairie. We'll also get an update on Loki's allergies from his vet, Dr. Megan. And she has a connection that she thinks some of our snowless winters may be leading to extended allergy seasons for our pets. So you certainly don't want to miss that tomorrow.
Exactly. Lots of pet owners can understand.
Indeed, yes.
Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
Looking forward to it. All right, the Packers are back at home this Sunday for a rivalry matchup against the Minnesota Vikings.
Ooh, drama. A roller coaster ride continues when it comes to special teams for the green and gold. News 3 Now senior Packers writer Jason Wilde shows us more about the matchup from Green Bay.
I always get a kick out of Packers coach Matt LaFleur when he tells us a player who is dealing with an injury is day-to-day. I always think, well, aren't we all day-to-day? But in the case of Packers running back Josh Jacobs, Matt LaFleur says he is genuinely day-to-day with that bruised knee he suffered last Sunday against the New York Giants at MetLife Stadium. The Packers not giving up hope that he will be available for this Sunday's game here at Lambeau Field against the Minnesota Vikings. But Matt LaFleur told us before practice that Josh Jacobs wouldn't participate, and he didn't. But that doesn't mean he won't be able to play Sunday.
Well, he will not practice today, so the plan is to try to get him healthy enough to go, and you know, it's just going to be a day-by-day thing. He is truly day-to-day, and you know, we'll see how he progresses as the week unfolds.
We'll have full coverage of the Josh Jacobs saga and everything else Packers on our website, channel3000.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our Packers newsletter, which delivers that coverage directly to your inbox every single day. In Green Bay at Lambeau Field, Jason Wilde, channel3000.com.
It's pretty brave to have a Vikings and Green Bay game right before Thanksgiving. There might be some divided tables this year.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Be careful. All right. Next on Live at 4, we're touching base with a local food pantry about how they weathered the government shutdown.
Our guest is telling us about the need in our communities during this holiday season. We're taking a live look at Covington, Kentucky. The weather there is 45 and cloudy. Beautiful cityscape there. The bridge that you see here opened in 1867 and was the longest suspension bridge in the world when it opened. It connects Cincinnati to Covington and is just more than 1,000 feet long. It was overtaken by the Brooklyn Bridge just 16 years later. Well, today we are joined by Ellen Carlson, Executive Director of Way Forward Resources, one of Dane County's largest food pantries.
That's right. Way Forward has already started its Thanksgiving distribution, all while continuing to help families on a daily basis who are still feeling the effects of the recent federal shutdown. So, Ellen, thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here. Hi.
Yeah, and happy holidays, but
Thank you.
It's a tough holiday season. You were talking about the distribution for Thanksgiving already underway and pretty intense.
Yeah, our distribution happens kind of during the week before Thanksgiving, so people can come shop for the food that they need for the whole week, right? Because we eat all week long, but then also pick up some of those items that they need for Thanksgiving. And we had our first distribution yesterday, and it was quite busy.
Yeah. And Sarah alluded to it earlier, the federal government shutdown. That's ended, but it's not necessarily a magic wand, or there's still challenges families are facing.
Yeah, I mean, I think people have a lot of concerns, right? They had that period of time where they weren't able to go get the food that they needed. There was a lot of confusion. I've heard from people who say, you know, if they can take those benefits away once, they can take them away again. And so there just is a lot of uncertainty for people.
And the other question that out there, I think a lot of people assume the shutdown time had an impact on those that you serve.
Yes.
But things were already in a really desperate time.
Yeah, they've been really high for a while now. You know, we kind of set an alarm, you know, in the community just to let people know that food pantries are just seeing an overwhelming number of people, and we have been for the last few years. You know, we're serving about 4 times as many people as we were 4 years ago. So this is all on top of that. And so, you know, food pantries are keeping up, but we're really thankful for the community support.
Well, yeah, and on that, you know, we love living in this community because everyone tries to help out their neighbors when they need it. What are some of the other ways that you noticed them stepping up to fill in some of those gaps during the shutdown?
It was really incredible. I have to say, people over that 2.5-week period came out. People were coming after work with, you know, they'd come in their scrubs and the things they were in during the workday with food to bring in. We brought in over 40,000 pounds of food in just a very short amount of time. But we were also giving out 1.5 times as much food. So it was in and out.
So with the holiday approaching, what is the biggest need? I know obviously some of those Thanksgiving items,
Absolutely.
perhaps?
Yeah, always holiday items are great. You know, people do a lot of baking and cooking over the holidays. They want to share with their family and friends, so that's always important. But just the regular basics of every day, people are still, you know, cooking their meals every day and feeding their kids breakfast in the morning.
And a lot of those items you can go to wayforward.org.
Yes, wayforwardresources.org, and people can find out there what we're looking for, but all food pantries across our community need people's support. So whatever's close to you and is close to home, please give.
When you see the impact, when you see families who are given a holiday meal or given the means to make a holiday meal, I don't know, what how does that? I know what I'm trying to say. How do you react to that?
Yeah. I mean, it's to me, it's beautiful. It's like we all have times that we need things in our lives, and we all have something we need and something we can give. And so it's just such a beautiful community exchange when someone needs something and they feel that they can come out and ask for it. And there are community members who want to be able to help.
Yeah.
So we always really encourage people who need to use the food pantry, please come, because your community wants you to thrive.
And I love the fact that you have 4 times as many people. The need is that much greater, and you're fulfilling it.
Yes.
Not
The people
easily.
are coming.
We need help, and that's why we're here.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
share that message. But it's wonderful to know that people care.
People care. Yeah, absolutely.
Any message to our viewers who think like, I want to help, what can I do today to help out?
Yeah, absolutely. I always tell people when you go to the grocery store, if there's items that your family likes, especially non-perishable foods, grab a couple extra, bring them in. A lot of food pantries have wish lists online that they can donate to, easily. A lot of Amazon wish lists and things like that. I saw your, Goodman Food Pantry piece. All of that supports our community.
Yeah, well, it's nice to see people helping out and reaching out like that.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being on
thanks
with
for
us.
having me.
Thank you. And coming up on Live at 4, we're learning more about the case of a Milwaukee judge who's accused of helping a migrant escape ICE custody.
And we are just one day past Congress signing a bill to release the Epstein files. We're learning how soon President Trump could sign the bill and what the next steps are.
Also, the clouds are hanging around for a while with some possible active weather for next week. Jacob will be back with the first warn weather forecast after this.
News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Live at 4, and here we are the week before Thanksgiving. It's go time.
It's already time. I need to get that grocery list.
Same.
Okay, we're going to take a look at the weather. The words, though, clouds stick around. I guess.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. Jacob Montesano is out on the patio. I guess you get to, and dark, so you can't see the clouds, I guess?
Yeah, you could definitely tell there are clouds still across all of our area. Not really seeing any spot of clearness at any point across the skies right now. But despite that, we are very dry. We have been dry all day. Current radar not showing anything. And it's not all bad news because the cloudy skies, although they will continue tomorrow, we also will see some warmer temperatures. Now, as we look at the current temperatures, lower 40s out here, definitely on the colder side. Some areas have been staying in the 30s all day. And it is going to get better for tomorrow, which is some good news. Now, looking at tonight, the cloudy skies will actually help keep the temperatures from dropping too much. So by tomorrow morning, we actually may see temperatures a little bit warmer for some locations, but in general, they're going to be pretty steady all night. But we also could see some fog by tomorrow morning. Not a ton of it, but look at the visibility forecast. You could see some foggy conditions in spots, especially for areas to the west and northwest. But that will clear up very quickly. Again, not going to be a big deal, but thought it'd be worth mentioning. Now, as we take a look at tomorrow's forecast, again, a good amount of cloud cover, a little bit more peaks of sunshine, but still a lot of clouds, but highs will get into the lower 50s, and we'll see more 50s throughout the week, and I'll talk more about that. We also will see a little bit of a cool down, so all those details will be coming up a bit later.
All right, thank you, Jacob. Well, firefighters from Madison and surrounding areas gathered at Voigt Farm for a live fire training exercises today. You can see this gave crews a chance to polish their firefighting and fire behavior skills in a realistic but controlled environment thanks to destructive training in an actual building. Crews practiced room burns, used new thermal imaging cameras, and collaborated closely with instructors to ensure safety.
And so each crew that goes in is with an instructor so that we're able to make sure that our burns are done safely. We have good open communication with them so that if we see things from the outside that may not correlate on the inside, we can let them know. And the most important thing for us is to get these practice burns in, but to get them in as safely as we can.
The training emphasizes safe fire attack, teamwork, and proper use of equipment. And this ensures that both new and experienced firefighters are well prepared for the emergencies. And homeowners out there are reminded as well to stay attentive in the kitchen, especially keep those smoke alarms working and have an escape plan. Simple steps that can save lives. They'll be conducting another burn tomorrow on Milwaukee Street. Well, a bill to release the full Epstein files is expected to land on the president's desk today following Congress fast-tracking its approval.
CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand has the latest from the White House.
But it's also Also, it's bittersweet, because of, I think, what it took for us to get to this moment.
Epstein survivor Annie Farmer told CBS Morning she's hopeful for transparency, one day after she and other victims gathered on Capitol Hill to celebrate legislation that will compel the Department of Justice to release all unclassified Epstein documents within 30 days.
I think that there's a lot of information in there about not only people
that we haven't heard before, that we
have not heard before, in terms of names of people that not only participated in these crimes, but the people that enabled the crimes.
The bill moved faster than expected, passing the House with all but one member voting in favor. Then almost immediately, the Senate agreed to the bill with unanimous consent. Speaker Mike Johnson, a yes vote, still expressed disappointment Wednesday the Senate didn't amend what he saw as flaws.
I hope it brings comfort to the victims and the survivors. Very important to us.
President Trump said this week he would sign the bill into law, but continues to accuse Democrats of trying to deflect.
And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax.
The president also ordered a new investigation into Epstein's alleged ties with prominent Democrats, which has some lawmakers concerned the DOJ could use the probe to delay the release of files.
We'll continue to follow the law and to have maximum transparency.
Already, tens of thousands of documents have been released following subpoenas by the House Oversight Committee. In one email obtained from the Epstein estate, Epstein claimed Trump knew about the girls, which the president has repeatedly denied. The documents also revealed direct correspondences between Epstein and former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, who this week announced he's stepping back from public commitments. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Summers also announced that he'll be stepping down from OpenAI's board of directors.
Plea negotiations with a Wisconsin judge accused of helping an immigrant evade federal agents are underway as her trial nears. New interim U.S. Attorney Brad Schimmel says prosecutors and defense attorneys are discussing a possible resolution. Judge Hannah Dugan's team maintains she's innocent and they are preparing for her December 15th trial. Dugan is accused of escorting Eduardo Flores Ruiz out of a private courtroom door to avoid federal agents back in April. He was caught after a chase and has recently been deported.
In Wisconsin, a bill that would have partly legalized online sports betting was removed from a vote on the assembly floor. This bipartisan bill would give tribal casinos the ability to own and operate sports betting online if it's run from their physical location. But that means popular apps like DraftKings and FanDuel would still be illegal in the state. The legislation faced questions over whether this change in gambling laws should be a constitutional amendment rather than a bill.
The Wisconsin State Senate has passed legislation to eliminate distance learning fees charged to students taking online courses. Senate Bill 532 prohibits UW system universities from charging these additional fees when no in-person option exists or when the course is required for graduation. Students currently pay these fees on top of regular tuition at UW Green Bay and 10 other four-year campuses. The bill passed with all 18 Republicans voting yes and all 15 Democrats voting no. Democratic lawmakers argue universities should set their own fee policies without legislative interference. The bill now moves to the Assembly before reaching the governor's desk.
It's that time of year. The U.S. Postal Service's annual letter adoption is underway.
Operation Santa gives children and families the opportunity to write letters to Santa Claus, and people can then adopt a letter from a child to make sure those holiday wishes are fulfilled. Well, this year you can choose to adopt a family as a team to ensure requests from the same household are met. You can visit USPS Operation Santa.com to learn more. Well, before Christmas, Thanksgiving is coming up. And before you reach for the phone to call a caterer, I'm showing you a simple recipe for Turkey Day. And it's a favorite that won't break the bank or your spirit.
Good. And then we hear how some Illinois farmers are braving the elements to raise money for a good cause. We'll be right back.
And 131, the S&P 500 picked up nearly 25.
All right, this is a reality check for me. We're just 1 week away from Thanksgiving Eve. And I don't, but do you have everything ready to go?
It's okay. You don't have to stress out about what to make for Turkey Day. We have a few fresh takes on some of your favorite recipes. I visited Chef Kate Conan at Jones Dairy Farm to bring you these helpful hints that you can take with you when you're buying groceries for next Thursday. No offense to the turkey, but a lot of us know the real star of Thanksgiving is the stuffing. Chef Kate with Jones Dairy Farm is here with me. We're in this beautiful kitchen of the beautiful original house at Jones Dairy Farm.
Yes.
And we have a lot going on here. What can we look forward to for the stuffing recipe?
Yes, well, first of all, it's awesome that we're here. So much history in this house, right? So you talk about traditions, and this is like the iconic traditional dish. We've got our bread cubes to start with, and you don't have to buy pre-seasoned or pre-cut bread. You can buy any bread, or if you make sourdough at home, that's a great thing you can, have in the freezer. Pull it out, cut it up, just let it dry so that you can hear how nice and crispy that is, right? You want it to be able to absorb some of the liquid. And then we've got some pears. This specific recipe is pears and dried cranberries, so it's got just those wonderful fall flavors that are
good
gonna
texture.
Yes, for sure. And you'll get a little bit of the sweet from the fruit. And then, of course, the star is going to be our roll sausage. So this is our original sausage recipe from Jones Dairy Farm. 3 ingredients: pork, salt, spices.
That's it?
That's it. So we'll add in our onions. This is about 1.5 cups of onions, which is about 1 to 2 onions, depending on what size you're using. Thank you. And about 5 stalks of celery.
And so you want to cook those until?
We're going to cook those for 7 to 8 minutes. We want them to be soft. We also have some chicken stock, and then we're going to add in 3 eggs. That's going to help just bind everything together when it bakes. So if you want to crack those eggs right into that chicken broth.
Take a crack at it.
And we'll mix. You're so funny. Okay, and
Am
then we
I
have
though? I don't know.
I'm going to add in our veggies. So these have been sauteing. They're nice and soft. You can see how translucent the onions are.
Recipes like this, I mean, it's not just food. Like, this is a family story. This is history. So, like, when you make this, is it just nice to have something like this and you can pass it down to your kids and they can say, remember when we made this with mom, dad,
Exactly.
etc.
Every really great recipe is tied to some kind of memory, right? And we're adding in our sausage. If there's a little bit of fat left in there, totally fine. The bread cubes are going to help soak up that flavor, and that's what we know, fat is flavor, so we just want to leave that.
And it's Thanksgiving, splurge a little bit.
Exactly. So we have rosemary, thyme, and sage. Perfect. This is all mixed. We'll dump this into our dish here.
It smells delicious.
All right.
So, cheers.
Cheers. Happy
Thank you.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
I hope you make this for your meal.
That kitchen smelled delicious, by the way. You can find the recipe for the slow cooker pear and sausage stuffing, and if you just want to keep it classic, you can find another recipe for a sourdough sausage stuffing recipe on our website. Just search for this segment. And thanks to Jones Dairy Farm for having us out there.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm a vegetarian, and even I wanted to try that one.
Well, and it's handy too because I love a good box stuffing, don't get me wrong, but if you want to make something, just a few ingredients, you don't have to go like too crazy with it.
Right. It looks clean and simple.
Yeah, clean and simple. We like that.
Yeah.
Well, Jacob has a clean and simple first warn forecast, perhaps. Clouds are staying in the area and the winds turn south, bringing us some briefly.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4, moving forward.
It is Winter Weather Awareness Week, and big question, like, how do you stay warm during winter?
Know. That's the big question when you're talking about, it's coming.
I feel like yesterday and the last couple of days, we always talk about, like cooking up something warm inside, like soup. I know I feel like you've talked about that a lot.
Soup.
So that's a good way, but it's really just, bundling up. And I've always said I'm a bigger fan of winter than summer, just because with winter, you can always, keep adding layers if you're too cold. Obviously, in the summer, you can't really do that.
Good point. All right, I like it. And as a runner, I kind of hear you.
Yeah,
I can be too warm, but I can't. Yeah.
I'm not a big runner, but do you like run in with how do I explain this? Every time I see runners in the cold, they're like wearing t-shirts and shorts.
No, I'm
That's
not
not you.
Okay. No, I'm a wimp. I've been doing it for decades, and I'm still a wimp. So I'm one of those runners overdressed who halfway through I've tied something around my waist.
A full snowsuit, like the little kid in Christmas Story.
You can just knock me down.
Yeah, and then you can't keep your arms down.
Probably not like this.
Yeah, now the next couple of days, we're not really going to be seeing these kind of winter-like temperatures. It will get into the lower 50s the next couple of days with at the same time, we're not really going to see much rain until we get to Monday night and Tuesday. But through the weekend, conditions are going to be pretty good. So tomorrow, although we're going to continue to see cloudy skies, we'll see highs in the lower 50s. Still cold during those morning hours, but high temperatures near 50 will continue for Friday. Friday, though, will feature a little bit more sunshine. And then as we look at the weekend, we're going to continue to see 50s with partly sunny skies. So again, the weekend forecast for this time of the year is looking pretty good. However, once we get towards next week, when we see that rainfall move through, that's going to really cool the temperatures down. And as we take a look at the highs over the next 10 days, by the time we get to the middle of the week, and specifically by the time we get to Thanksgiving, we're going to see high temperatures only near 30, lows in the teens. And at this point in time, once those temperatures do cool down, there's not an end in sight to them. So it will get a lot more winter-like for next week. So definitely enjoy the weather that we're going to see the next 4 days, because 50s are in the forecast. And, you know, those aren't going to be too common over the next couple of months.
Now, tomorrow on Live at 4, we are continuing our Winter Weather Awareness Week coverage with Alex and the whole First Warn Weather team. And Josh is in the 608 for a preview on the Hilldale tree lighting ceremony. And later on News 3 Now at 5, we're learning more about the sentence of a man who shot and killed 20-year-old Devon Grant just more than 2 years ago. Thanks for watching Live at 4 today. We hope to see you back here tomorrow. You can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. News 3 Now at 5 starts right now.